Now we start with Russia. Russia's defense ministry reports that its air defense systems have intercepted and destroyed 85 Ukrainian drones overnight. According to the statement, the drones were taken down between 11:30 p.m. on November 3rd to 7 a.m. on November 4th, Moscow time. The defense ministry has said that 40 drones were shot down over the Voronezh region, 20 over Nizhny Novgorod, 10 over Belgorod, 6 over Kursk, 4 over Lipetsk, and 2 over Volgograd, another 2 over Bashkortostan, and the 1 over the Saratov region. The ministry did not provide details on any damage or casualties so far. Now for this discussion, we welcome Professor Georgy Toloraya. He's an international affairs expert, joins us live from Moscow. Thank you very much, Professor Georgy Toloraya, for joining us again. Good to see you. Professor, looking at this, what's your analysis?
Hello, yeah.
Thank you. Professor, looking at this, what's your analysis on who is leading this battle between Ukraine and Russia? And do you think that the news that has come in today about Ukraine opening new arms export offices in Europe, does it affect the balance of military power in the region?
Well, I cannot hear you right, but I would say that actually today is a national holiday in Russia, the Day of People's Unity. And predictably, Ukrainians would like to spoil the celebrations. So far they send just drones, and this is quite habitual. Every night, every day, about 100 or more would enter Russian airspace. Most of them are shot down, fortunately. Some are not. For example, one drone hit the oil chemical factory in Sterlitamak. There's not much damage, but some damage has been registered. And some of them try to attack Moscow, including central Moscow, the capital. Luckily we have a good air defense. But we understand that the people, instead of celebrating, they have to watch the skies and fight these drones. At the same time, in the meantime, Russia is, I think, finished its encirclement of Ukrainian forces in Kupiansk area, in Donetsk, Donbass. And this is another testimony to the progress of Russian troops, although it is rather slow and painful. But anyway, the Russian troops, they have the initiative in the warfare. So the more Ukrainians would procrastinate with going to find a diplomatic solution, the more they're bound to lose. And I myself believe that only diplomatic solution can be a solution, and that Europe should stop supporting Ukraine by military supplies and money to enable Ukrainians to agree to this inevitable end to the war.
Right. And Dr. Georgy Toloraya, as you are in Moscow, how safe do you feel as we see a lot of missiles target Moscow as well?
Well, you know, every night you go to bed, you don't know whether you wake up or not, because the drone can come from anywhere. And in fact, one drone was down to just a couple of kilometers from my house where I live, and somebody died in the incident, well, a couple of months ago, and well, it goes on.
Well, thank you for sharing that personal experience with us on NewsX World, and please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now we move on. The United States federal government shutdown has entered its 5th week, edging closer to becoming the longest in American history. The current closure is on track to surpass the 35-day record set between December 2018 and January 2019. House Speaker Mike Johnson has once again placed responsibility on Democrats in Congress, asserting that the shutdown will only end when those same Democrats make a deliberate choice to open it. The Republican leader has accused the opposition of obstructing efforts to reach a funding agreement, intensifying the partisan standoff in Washington. Let's listen in.
So we're now entering the 5th week of this Democrat shutdown, and it's for one reason. Democrats made a deliberate choice to keep the government closed. The shutdown will only end when those same Democrats make a deliberate choice to open it. The entire country is calling and waiting on just 5 more Senate Democrats to come to their senses and do the right thing. We are pleading with them to do so. This is not a game. The solution is sitting right in front of them. Pass the clean CR, end this madness, and open the government.
Johnson has also weighed in on the upcoming New York mayoral race, calling Democratic frontrunner Zohran Mamdani a Marxist and communist. He has claimed that Mamdani's rise terrifies the establishment's old guard Democrats in Washington, signaling a broader Republican effort to link local political contests with national ideological divides. Now for this discussion, we welcome back Professor Georgy Toleraya. He's an international affairs expert, joins us live from Moscow. Thank you very much, Professor Georgy, for staying with us. Now looking at this, how is a prolonged federal government shutdown affecting public trust in both major U.S. political parties? And how do you think this shutdown will influence voter sentiment ahead of the upcoming national and local elections?
Well, I lived in U.S. for several years, and I was always amazed when almost every end of the year this shutdown would happen. And I think that shows just the contempt to the government, to the functions that the government performs, and it undermines the public trust into the political system. I was always very much amazed and surprised by these incidents, but now this is something outrageous when the civil servants have to earn their living by selling hot dogs because they paid no salary, when the people just don't get their food. I think this is outrageous. This is some kind of the absurdity in all of this, and something's wrong with the system itself. When the Congress, because of internal fight in the Congress, the political functions of the most powerful state on earth could even be performed. There's something wrong with the whole system, with the whole democratic structure of the U.S., I think.
Building on that, Professor, what do you think is wrong, and what do you think they should do to make sure that this, as you said, this is very often, as we see U.S. government shutdown happening very often, so that this does not happen very often, and people suffering and people who are on these coupons or going or in urge of becoming in famine conditions in U.S., millions of people are not affected by such government's initiatives. Professor, could you hear me? Professor, let me move on to my next question here. Professor, what are the broader political implications of what we heard from Speaker Mike Johnson linking local elections to national ideological differences? We seem to have some technical connection loss with the professor. I would like to thank Professor Georgy Toleraya for joining us and sharing that insight. Now we move on to our next news. To Middle East, Israel